talking to Ward before the game, he said that he wanted to make Mookie put it on the ground. That's exactly what he did, and Mookie made him pay for it, putting it on the ground with a leaner to the bucket.
Kurt Thomas comes up floor, just now crossing the half-court line, holding the middle of his back. Don't know if he sprained it or not. We'll check in a moment. The pass intended for Thomas, having trouble running. Mookie is it. 4-0 Atlanta. Kurt Thomas stays in the game, seems to be okay at least momentarily. Charlie Ward running at the point, defended by Blaylock. Allen Houston hit his first 2 shots to open. This time passes to Thomas. This is the jumper long to Smith.
And you just saw one of the adjustments. Soon as Houston got the ball, there was a double team. They want to get it out of his hands, make other guys be scorers.
Mutombo facing up against Patrick Ewing. And once again, an early foul on Patrick. He had 2 quick ones and sat down. And in that game on Tuesday night, Patrick only played 17 minutes. First 2 minutes of the first period from the Georgia Dome. Hawks trailing 1 game to none. Blaylock's on fire. All 6 of the points scored by the Hawks in this first period.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Got a 20-second timeout.
Now, when you're talking about Charlie Ward and what he's got to do with Mookie Blaylock, one of the things is he can't get hung up on the pick. The big thing, when you go pick and roll, you got to decide what you're going to do. You're going to go over the top, or you're going to send him baseline. Right here, he's trying to chase him over the top. It didn't work the last time, and it didn't work this time because Mookie Blaylock can hit that shot, Bob.
Interestingly enough, just prior to the game, Reggie, you and I were talking to Charlie Ward, and he says, you know, most of the time you want to stop a point guard from penetrating. With Mookie Blaylock, who is really a shooter more than a point guard, as he started his career, he says, him, we want to get on as a shooter. And as you just pointed out, they didn't do it that time, and Mookie can certainly light it up if you're not in his face.
You want to make Mookie have to penetrate.
22nd Knicks timeout. Ball inbounded with 19 on the shot clock. Kurt Thomas on the baseline. Mutombo with his second rebound. Grant Long against Kurt Thomas. Long is fouled by Thomas and will go to the line. I told you already, Grant Long, who is a major factor offensively in the Hawks beating Detroit and moving on to round 2, did not score in game 1.
Grant Long not having a good game first night, but right here, one of the things he has to do, Bob, is get to the line, get to the under the basket where he can get contact. That's where he's best.
You see, Grant did have 7 rebounds. There you go. Talking about game 5 versus Detroit. 7 of 14, 26 points and 11. In game 2, 0-4-6. He said in the papers here that he needed to be more aggressive going to the basket, and we just saw an example of it.
And a lot of those baskets he got in game 5 were moving around underneath the basket after the double team came to Mutombo.
Hawks up 7-0. Just over 2 minutes gone in the first period.
One of the big keys so far is no second chance shots for New York.
And we've got a jump ball.
One shot and done. That gives the Hawks a chance to run. Right there was their first opportunity at a second chance shot. Here it comes. You got to put a body on Big Kurt. Right there, he pushed the man right out of bounds. Nice play.
New York has started this game 0 for 4 from the field. Charlie Ward runs it down. There's the double team on Larry Johnson.
And see, there's a mismatch right there that I'd have to go to see what Larry's going to do.
Now they got a quick whistle on Dikembe Mutombo. So both Mutombo and Ewing pick up early fouls.
With the way that the Hawks are going to play this game, trying to get the ball out of the guard's hands early, it's going to be very important for Thomas and Larry Johnson to shoot the ball and be aggressive offensively.
An equipment adjusted for Chris Childs, and the reason you see that wrap on his right thigh is he has a contusion there and is playing with a sore leg. He's getting early entry into this game with only 9:20 to go in the first quarter, and the trainer working on Charlie Ward. We'll keep our eye on Charlie. He bumped his knee in game 1 and said it was bruised. Chris Childs comes up with an air ball. Knicks up 7-0. Knicks 0 for 5 from the floor. Grant long pick and another Knicks foul, and it's going to be on Chris Childs. And let's go to Scott Hastings.
Charlie Ward's sitting out on the sideline right now. Chris Childs in the game. Charlie ripped his fingernail off his little finger. Mike Saunders, the trainer over there, working on it. It was bleeding. That was the biggest concern. He's okay, but they had to stop the bleeding. Guys?
Thank you, Scott. Team fouls. New York has already committed 4. Their next one will send Atlanta to the line. Smith misses the jump hook, gets his own board. Rebound, Larry Johnson. New York plays a tandem at the point anyway. Patrick Ewing spins inside but misses. Thomas runs it down. Childs on the penetration. And the dish. Thomas misses the jam. Ewing!
Nice shot by Ewing, but excellent defense by the Hawks.
7-2, the first points of this game for New York with just under 3 minutes gone.
Oh, Patrick, he didn't want to take a chance of getting that second foul. He let the man go. Ole.
Grant Long's already 3 points above his totals in game 1. 9-2 Atlanta. Ewing handing off to Childs, bouncing to Thomas, missed it. Ewing gets the loose ball bounce, rebound Mookie. Pick and roll. Kurt Thomas with the board. Thomas has 3 rebounds already in this game, and a Knicks turnover.
Mutombo always roaming the back line. Look at this block. Not many times he gets a chance to wave his finger, but that's an excellent block. And he turns and gives him the wave. Of course, while he was doing that, Patrick Ewing was busting him from deep.
Latrell Sprewell, who had a career playoff high 31 in game 1 on the bench. About to come into the game, Steve Smith. Thomas gets the loose ball foul as he pushed off Dikembe Mutombo. And now New York is 1 of 11 from the field. 2 turnovers already.
Well, the difference so far in this game to me, Bob, is that there's not nearly as much movement offensively. Last game, they got Mutombo on the move. They got drives to the bucket, and then they were kicking it out to the shooters early. Matter of fact, if you remember, Patrick Ewing twice on the baseline, finding the open spot after the drive and kick.
Lenny Wilkins and the Hawks want to get a timeout here as they lead 9-2.
I'll tell you about this. Teams started wearing the black sneakers during the playoffs of a sign of toughness out there. Well, everybody started doing it. So the new thing now is black socks. You see the New York Knicks are wearing it. They did beat Miami in the first round, but now they think socks make it tough. I think socks actually, Bob, go right in here and make a nice little coat thing.
Yeah, spoken like a guy who went to Arkansas. Oh, send the letters to me. I know. Thank you, Scott. And the black socks on the Knicks are almost covered because they're wearing medium to high top shoes, but nevertheless they know it, and apparently it will give them a little more defensive minded toughness. But Jeff Van Gundy probably questioned that when he called them over there on the sideline. They had to mop up the floor, and now Dikembe Mutombo with his free throws. 11-2 Hawks. New York shooting 10% in this first period, halfway through.
Especially after they shot 51% in the first quarter in game 1, Bob.
Allen Houston missed 3 shots already in this game. Hit his first 2 out of 3 in the first game. Chris Crawford on the run. He's fouled. Different looking Hawks team and a different looking Knicks team, as we just pointed out. But the Hawks getting out to run. And Lenny Wilkins said today, we're talking to him about the Hawks not having a reputation for running. He says we're a sneaky running team.
Did they want to push it more? Absolutely. But he's also, what was interesting is they said we can't run unless we take care of the boards. And so far, the Knicks only 1 shot and they're done, and the Hawks are pushing it up the court.
Chris Crawford, as we documented in game 1, injured his shoulder, separated it in game 2 versus Detroit, missed all the games until Tuesday night when he came off the bench for 34 minutes, 26 points, and had a blistering second period. Sprewell. He's open for the three. Mutombo. 3, make it 4 rebounds early. Intended for Crawford, intercepted by Sprewell. Knicks on the run. Sprewell to Houston, he missed it again. And Houston is 0 for 4 to start this game. Long finds Blaylock. Smith finds Chris Crawford, but he stepped out of bounds.
One of the things that the Hawks are going to do this game, and this is from earlier, it's Allen Houston and Sprewell will be double teamed as soon as they get the ball. They got to get somebody else involved. That's why Ward, Thomas, and Johnson are going to be so important when it comes to being aggressive offensively tonight.
With 5:56 to go in the first period, the Knicks have scored 2 points. Now 1 for 15. 1 for 15 Knicks. Mutombo hit in the face on that last exchange, slow getting down court. It'll be Knicks ball. Camby, you see, around his right eye, apparently. Charlie Ward on the bench for the Knicks, as Scott told you a moment ago. He ripped the fingernail off his little finger. They're attending to him because it was bleeding, so Childs made an early entrance. Ewing on the turnaround.
Well, they got to find somebody to get into the offense. I think they got to go into Patrick a few times and see what he can do with Mutombo one-on-one.
Patrick has their only 2 baskets. Crawford thought about the 3. Shot clock to 4. Crawford's going to take this one over Latrell Sprewell, who caused him to alter his shot as Ewing goes down. He's up now, late getting down Torco. No matter, Childs hits the jumper.
And that's not a bad thing for Ewing to sometimes, when he's not in the play, just to stay at half court.
13-6 now as the Knicks making it a little bit more respectable, wondering if they were going to score more than 2 in the first period for a moment. This game much more like the 3 these 2 teams played in the regular season. Johnson out to Sprewell. 3-on-1. Ewing missed the break, and Crawford fouled Sprewell. Ewing missed the jam inside.
What an excellent effort by Grant Long on Patrick Ewing. Watch Long go after the big fella, made him overshoot the basket because of his effort defensively. Nice break, but look at this. That's challenging.
So Latrell Sprewell, who played 33 minutes off the bench in game 1 and was perfect from the free throw line, remains so. Sprewell more and more comfortable in this Knicks lineup coming off the bench.
Well, he said that, you know, it just took this long, Bob. There's nothing that anybody did, nothing that he worked on differently. It's just taking this long for him to gel and blend with the team.
6-0 New York run. It's now a 5-point Atlanta lead. 13-8. Atlanta had led 13-2. 4:14 to go in the first quarter. Technical foul called on Chris Childs by Ronnie Nunn. Smith will shoot it. Steve Smith, an 85% free throw shooter, was 12 of 14 in the first game. Scott Hastings.
Bob, remember you were talking about in game 1 the history between Childs and Dikembe. Dikembe in the second meeting this year knocked out one of Childs' tooth. He's upset about a screen in the back court. He tripped over Dikembe. We might see a little bit of that bad blood we talked about in game 1.
7 on the shot clock. Thanks, Scott. Fouled out on the baseline. We're going to have an offensive foul.
Well, I tell you what, Childs is upset about that. There was nothing Camby could do if he tripped over his leg. He was just standing there.
Foul was on Long. 3:56 to go in the first period. 14-8 Atlanta. Ewing in deep. He has 6.
They're so concerned with the guards that they're leaving Ewing one-on-one down there. And if Patrick can get into some kind of rhythm, he could help this Knicks team in this first quarter.
Hawks led 13-2. It's now 14-10 Atlanta with 3:34 to go in the first period. Long turned his back. Didn't get the pass. Sprewell, who had one, fouled by Chris Crawford.
Oh, that was very nice, Bob. Latrell going to the bucket with the right hand, draws the contact and switches hands and lays it in with the left hand. Check this out. This is a nice two-guard move. There's the contact, there's the switch, and there's the layup. Chance for a three-point play.
That's the second personal on Chris Crawford.
And see how he hid the ball? That body motion when he swung the ball is what really got him through.
Now in this series, Latrell Sprewell is a perfect 12 of 12 from the free throw line, and it's a 1-point game. Knicks on an 11-1 run. Apparently standing up at the timeout has worked. Steve Smith. Got his own offensive board and the putback.
Larry Johnson throwing the ball off the backstop, but he went immediately and apologized to the referee. I was saying my fault, Ronnie.
Ewing trying to pass the ball to Allen Houston. The turnover goes into the hands of Mookie Blaylock. Finds Grant Long. Foul on Grant Long over the back of Patrick Ewing, and that's 2 on Long.
See, that's one of the things that Mookie Blaylock does. He's always stopping early. I think that he needs to take that ball and penetrate further to make things happen. Nevertheless, Atlanta's still playing well up by
9. And there is the right elbow knocking out the tooth of Chris Childs, who was very upset about it.
Oh, it's gonna be a 12-round fight. I'm gonna call Don King, and I put that on my grandmother. I'm gonna get him back. I might not be able to reach him, you know, in his mouth, but I'm gonna get him back.
Well, there's a little bad blood, so anytime there's contact between Mutombo and Childs, I think right after the game when he got hit in the mouth, he was upset. I don't believe that Mutombo fired on him to knock his tooth out on purpose. If you know Mutombo, he's always sticking his elbows in the wrong place.
Well, you know, Chris is going to have a modeling career. I would have said him. Camby now. Marcus Camby in for New York. Of course, came in the controversial trade for Charles Oakley from Toronto. Ball fake. Sprewell misses. Mutombo with the board. Hawks by 3. Anthony Johnson in now for Atlanta. Anthony Johnson played 18 minutes, had 7 points, and finished the game at the point for Atlanta in game 1 as Blaylock set out the final 9 minutes, and Anthony Johnson throws a pass that really upset Wilkins. Do you see him get up and get that ball and slam it down?
Well, he telegraphed the pass all the way, really didn't take his time and alter his position at all.
6 Atlanta turnovers.
You know, Lenny's a point guard, so he's pretty hard on his point guard at the time.
Allen Houston. Smith all over him in his chest here tonight. Corbin in the game defending Latrell Sprewell. Another Knicks turnover. That's 4 for the Knicks.
Just different ball movement in this first quarter of this game other than game 1, Bob.
Anthony Johnson looking a bit out of control off the bench for Mookie. Pick and roll with Grant Long and Smith. Mutombo misses. Good interior defense from Marcus Camby. Traveling on Houston.
Well, one of the things that they were doing, I said there was different ball movement. Before, at the game 1, there was 4 or 5 passes in the offense, and then someone took it to the bucket. Now, there's 1 pass. Everybody's looking to score. They got the guard combination that was so hot in game 1, and the ball is just not dropping. They got to go to a different game plan.
16-13 Atlanta with a minute 14 remaining in period number 1. Grant Long. because Camby's been effective off the bench in this past couple of minutes. Sprewell so quick. Handoff Houston, who is so cold. Allen Houston can't find the bucket anywhere. He's 0 for 5. Now, this is more like these two teams, this low score. When they played head-to-head, neither team averaged 80 points in the regular season.
And this score obviously favors the Atlanta Hawks. They have to control the tempo tonight. It cannot be a 90-plus game, or they will lose again.
It was 27-21 Knicks after the first period in Game 1. Here's 16-13. There you go. That's what I was talking about. 76-7, 78 points for Atlanta. Game 1, 192. And by the way, that was the second personal on Patrick Ewing. So before the first quarter ends, Patrick gets 2. And Chris Dudley, who played very well off the bench for Patrick in game number 1, comes in for the final 41.2 seconds of this first quarter.
Now, even though they hadn't been going to Patrick Ewing a lot in this first quarter, Chris Dudley brings a different type of game to the Knicks. Now with Camby in the lineup, with both the guards, Sprewell and Houston in here, here's the time when they can play up-tempo ball and really go to the bucket hard.
Camby. Childs calling the play. 10 to shoot.
See the one-on-one, Bob? That's what I'm talking about.
Dudley took it back. Camby tips it in.
You got to be active.
Atlanta 18-15. Playing for the last shot. See on the bottom right, 12 and counting seconds to go in the first period. Anthony Johnson with the lob to Dikembe Mutombo.
Nice look. He camouflaged that. Looked like a jumper for sure.
Childs is fouled with 0.6 of a second, and now Mutombo and Ewing both with 2 personal fouls in the first period.
I don't know where he fouled him at, because his hand was in the air. What else can the man do? Take a look at it. Hands in the air, a little bit of a bump, but incidental contact. He bailed him out because he was turning around doing a 360.
Chris Childs with a chance to cut the Atlanta lead to 3 if he hits this free throw. And as I pointed out, Patrick Ewing already on the bench with 2 fouls, and Mutombo just picked up his second. Hawks had led 13-2. That was an 11-point lead. But the Knicks have cut it to 3 after 1. 20-17. Exit on the bench with his 2 personal fouls. New York starters didn't have it in the first period for Jeff Van Gundy. They were 3 of 16. The only 6 points came from Patrick Ewing. New York did get 11 off the bench, 5 from Sprewell. Anthony Johnson remains at the point for Atlanta. Mark West in at center for Mutombo.
This is a very potent offensive team that's out there for New York. Defensively, they got big guy in the back that can block some shots too and rebound.
West loses the rebound, and Marcus Camby looking very athletic. He has played better and better for New York since he's molded into this team after the trade. Sprewell through a series of screens still didn't lose Steve Smith. 5 on the shot clock.
See the double team come get it out of his hands. Make Childs be the shooter.
Camby with a rebound. Back to Allen Houston, who's now 0 for 6 from the field after scoring a playoff career-high 34 in Game 1. Hawks by 3. Steve Smith. Interior pass to Mark West, and he is fouled. Mark West only played about 10 minutes a game in the regular season, averaged a point and 2.5 rebounds. Mark is 39 years old. Will be 40 in November.
You know what's interesting, Bob? Talking to Coach Lenny Wilkins before the game, basically said that He was going to double team the guards, didn't want them to have anything out on the floor, banking that Houston and Sprewell could not shoot the ball as well as they did in game one.
That's been their history this year, having a very big game and then coming back with a mediocre game in terms of scoring. West, who's only a 36% free throw shooter on the year, took his first 2 of the playoffs, missed them both. Hawks continue to lead 20-17. Sprewell uncontested to the basket as he got past Tyrone Corbin.
Just eluded the entire back line of the Hawks. That's what happens when Mutombo's not back there roaming the key.
Sprewell with 7 points. Long pick. Long foul. He set the pick for Steve Smith, then got the offensive board.
Well, he made up for not playing defense on Sprewell's dunk. He had his head completely turned.
10-11 to go in the first half. Sprewell. Once again, Corbin did not get to him, and Sprewell now has 9. It's a 1-point Hawks lead. Charlie Ward back into the game. Anthony Johnson blows right past him. Dudley with a rebound. Ward and Sprewell against Smith. Bad pass, Charlie Ward. Grant Long more active, more aggressive in this game. He failed to score in game one. 8 on the clock.
Got
This match. Corbin. Charlie Ward and the Knicks trying to run. Hawks back quickly on transition defense. Dudley is fouled. Hawks lead it by a point, and Chris Dudley, who is famous for his poor free throw shooting, is 2 for 2 in these playoffs. Latrell Sprewell running freely.
The Hawks busy down there, and then, of course, Sprewell opens up. Nobody covering the middle. Everybody occupied, uses everyone on the floor for that nice dunk.
9:13 to go in the first half. Ed Gray is in for Atlanta. Latrell Sprewell with 9 points in 9 minutes. And Chris Childs and Charlie Ward are on the floor, along with Latrell Sprewell and Marcus Camby and Chris Dudley. Allen Houston has had a very difficult start to this ball game. You see the difference. Houston 13 in the first half, none here tonight.
Part of the thing, Bobby shooting all jump shots. If you don't hit your first couple of jump shots, your next 2 should be going to the bucket.
Chris Dudley, who had been 2 for 2 in the playoffs, missed them. The steal from Blaylock by Ward, and the Hawks come back and turn it right back over again. This is Ed Gray.
That's the second fast break opportunity that the New York Knicks have blown.
Dudley played Mutombo well in game 1. Fouls in here.
It's the second time that New York has had an opportunity that they have not capitalized on. Mookie, a very good player down there, but you got to make him commit. You can't make 2 passes or 2 fakes on Mookie Blaylock. Ride him up early or give it up early.
Ed Gray finds himself with a double team. Blaylock over Charlie Ward. Mookie has 8 points, his first points of this second period. Hawks lead back to 3. Remember, the Hawks led 13-3 with about 4 minutes gone in the first period. On the shot clock. Sprewell's lightning quickness.
Bob, that was a great play by Sprewell. I love to see guards go in there with the right hand and switch to the left. Sweet.
Foul away from the ball. It's going to be an offensive foul on Grant Long.
Bob, how hard would it be? You go to your right, and then when you get in the lane, you plant and you shoot it leaning with the left. Nobody can catch that. It's too high, baby.
Including Mount Mutombo. Sprewell has all 6 of New York's points in this quarter, and Chris Crawford, who started the game, gets back in now. He had only 2 points in 9 minutes in the first period. Crawford trying to defend Sprewell. Now the double. Ward turns it over. Camby keeps it alive. What an athlete. Ward for 3. And the Knicks take their first lead of the game, 26-24. Once again, big cheers from this Georgia Dome crowd for the Knicks. Got a lot of Knicks fans here for game 1. Chris Crawford gets it to Ed Gray. He hits the 3. Gray, an excellent perimeter shooter, second year from California. Hawks go back up by 1, 27-26. Foul before the shot. Do not count the basket.
Spree is so quick to get into spots. If I'm the Knicks, I go isolation with Spree and Crawford. Let Spree create something for somebody else if he can't get the score himself.
Crawford has 3 personal fouls now. Hawks by a point. 22nd timeout called by Lenny Wilkins and the Atlanta Hawks. So Latrell Sprewell once again exploding off the bench for New York, just as he did in game number 1. It's now been stretched.
And then making things happen, giving it up and shooting shots. Sprewell right now, 11 points, 4 of 7 shooting in 12 minutes.
Sprewell loves playing in Atlanta in 3 games here this year. 2 regular season. That first playoff, he's averaging 26 points a game. Here the Hawks lead it by 1, 6:53 to go in the half. Now Ed Gray will try his turn on Sprewell.
And see, he's the one guy on this team that can create shots for himself. And that's so important when you have a guard that can go in there and create double teams just because of his quickness.
Dikembe Mutombo just picked up his 3rd personal foul. Patrick Ewing remaining on the bench with 2 fouls. Dudley has played this second period.
Mutombo really arguing with the referee and also looking at Lenny to co-sign for him. Hey, I'm playing the man with my hands up. And of course, Tommy Nuda says, no, you had him up, but then you brought him down.
Lenny told us about Dikembe, who gets very emotional during ball games. Sometimes that's good, sometimes bad. Lenny said he's talked to him about his maturity on the court all year and says, let me fight with the refs.
Yeah.
If I get a technical, I'll know to back off. We don't want you concentrating on the officiating. We want you concentrating on being Mount Mutombo. Ed Gray. Beautiful play by Ed Gray. First round 23rd pick in '97. He's 2 for 2, 5 points off the bench for Atlanta. Have a hold.
See, the Knicks are such a different team, Bob, when they're not concentrating on jump shots. They have quickness on the floor now, much quicker team than the Hawks. They got to take advantage of that, put it on the floor, make things happen, get into the penalty where you're shooting free throws.
Corbin gets the foul. It's his 2nd. Patrick's still on the bench. He has 2. Picked them both up in the first period. Sprewell just operating at will almost, nearly turns it over. The double effective. Shot clock still has 13 seconds. Sprewell and Childs working together. Mutombo grabs the air ball. Hawks have the numbers here. Out of bounds. It'll be Hawks ball. Went out off Charlie Ward. Atlanta leading by 2, 29-27. Began the game 13-2 as Chris Childs will go to the bench and Larry Johnson back in. Charlie Ward will go to the point. Gray with Latrell Sprewell in his face. Rebound Camby. Knicks with numbers. Sprewell misses. Camby follows. 29.
Some people might say that was a little selfish of Sprewell, but when you've got guys following the trail and they're on your team, you got excellent chance for offensive rebounding, and that's exactly what happened on that play.
With the exception of Dudley, this is a very fast Knicks team on the floor. Blaylock short arms it, went down, it's out of bounds. It'll belong to the Hawks with 4 on the shot clock.
Now check, Sprewell could have gave it up if he wanted to, but look, he's got 2 Knicks players trailing it, and of course Camby can nicely finish a play for you.
Camby has 4 points and 7 rebounds. In 10 minutes off the bench, Patrick Ewing gets back in. 5:08 to go in the half. Patrick has only played 11 minutes in this game, but he is 3 of 6 and has 6 points for the New York Knicks. They've reset the shot clock. It was 4, now it's a new shot clock for Atlanta with 24. Corbin off the screen.
The Knicks are doing a terrible job with any pick and roll. Guys coming off. Big guys are not stepping up and giving the guards and the small forward help on those shots.
The Knicks led in this game by 1 point for about 1 second. Other than that, the Hawks have led all the way in this first half. Larry Johnson got Mutombo, and he still followed for the block. Shot clock to 3. Ward knew it, got the floater.
He's so good at making up for lost time, lost space. He just covers a lot of ground, Bob.
Per step.
Yes.
Tied at 31. Ewing with 2 personals. Mookie. And we've got a loose ball foul. It's going to be on Grant Long. That's his 3rd personal foul. Scott Hastings.
Bob, we know the players have superstitions. Well, coaches do too. Jeff Van Gundy, before every game, walks out to the court side with a roll of tape. Now, what happens if they win? He actually keeps the roll of tape for the next game. This roll happens to be from the Miami series, Game 5. Now, you know Reggie had some superstitions. I don't know if he'll fess up to him or not. Every time he played a bad game, he refused to wear that same Armani suit again for the next game. Bob?
Oh, I tell you what.
Reggie has that Armani on here tonight.
Hey, listen, it was all about pancakes for me. I had to have my pancakes.
Pancakes is ritual. Pancakes have been my ritual, and it has nothing to do with my activities. They're just a ritual. Steve Smith back in. He's 1 of 8 from the floor, has only 3 points, and Steve Smith in Game 1 was only 6 of 17, so struggling here in the playoffs. His numbers are down substantially in the playoffs this year compared to last year. Does have a sore knee, remember. He doesn't use it as an excuse, but you know it bothers his leaping ability. Mutombo missed the jam. Gray saved it. Offensive foul on Ed Gray.
That's a gutsy play.
Knicks lead it by a point, 32-31. We have 3:48 to go in the first half. Totally different game than Game 1. Hawks led Game 1 50-48 at the half. Charlie Ward penetrates and gets it to Camby. Shot clock to 4. Marcus feeling it off the bench. He has 6 points and 7 rebounds.
And the ball movement in that offensive play was much better, the best I've seen in this game so far.
Biggest Knicks lead, a lead of 3. Mutombo missed the lay-in. Camby has him running. Three minutes to go in the half. Steve Smith defending Camby. He traveled.
Marcus Camby making his presence felt. Latrell, Camby.
Along with Reggie Theus, Bob Neal, the Knicks on a 6-0 run now. They've overcome an 11-point Hawks lead early, and much of it's been with Ewing on the bench. What's the trend the last few minutes that's given them this 3-point lead?
Well, the ball movement has to be it. They've moved the ball from weak side to strong side and back, and that's what's got them back in this league. Got them in a little bit more of an offensive-minded game.
Hawks over the limit. Knicks have committed only 2 team fouls. Larry Johnson defended Steve Smith well in game 1, doing likewise here tonight. Mookie Blaylock has to put it up with the shot clock running down. And Camby has the rebound. It's his 9th board. Marcus has only played 13 minutes. It goes with his 6 points. He's been a big factor. Ed Gray trying to defend Sprewell, denying him the ball. Shot clock down to 8.
See how they try to keep Mutombo moving. They start with Ewing up at the top of the key and then try to get some ball movement.
Mutombo in the face of Patrick. He short arms the jumper. Knicks lead it by 3. Smith one-on-one with Larry Johnson. There's going to be a foul on Johnson. Blocking.
See, that's the difference in his game, first game, and right now.
Coming up at halftime, the AT&T halftime report. Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, and special guest Joe Dumars via satellite. They'll bring you up to date on all the playoff action.
See him go isolation with Larry Johnson and Smith. Before, he was trying to back him down and play the big man game. Right here, he's playing a small game, and that's the game he's going to be more successful with going against Larry Johnson.
Blaylock for the offensive board. Gray picks up the garbage and puts it in the hole. Ed Gray, he's been effective off the bench too. Gray has 7 points in only 8 minutes.
Gray not afraid of Patrick Ewing. Doesn't want to get his 3rd foul.
Camby with a bad pass. Ed Gray picked it up to Blaylock. Camby with a block. He's everywhere. Knicks by a point. Minute to go in the first half. Sprewell misses. Wave off the basket. He says offensive basket interference for Marcus Camby.
Oh, that was so close. It's very difficult to call that from the side of the court that Tommy Nunes called it on, but nice look by Sprewell. And the ball bouncing high. You see in the second bounce, it was on its way off the rim. I thought a bad call.
Knicks still lead it by 1. Camby with a block. That's his 2nd block. Charlie Ward, Sprewell.
Marcus Camby turning this game for the New York Knicks in the second quarter. Just huge. Marcus Camby on the follow-up, on the jumper, and then right here, look at it, hit the rim the second time, and the ball is off the rim on the second bounce. Not a good call. Marcus Camby made this play happen. Sprewell gets it on the break, foul, touch, and look at the little ball bounce on the rim, shooter's touch. Some people say luck.
Camby 6 points, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks in 14 minutes. The Knicks up by 3 with 42.8 seconds to go in the half. And Sprewell misses his first free throw of the playoffs. Look at Camby.
Oh, live body. Got to find somebody to get it done for you.
Mutombo. Ewing has 2 personals. Flirted with one there. Mookie Blaylock from Dikembe Mutombo. And we are tied at 36. Mookie has 11.
If Mookie is the only threat they have from the perimeter basically out there on the floor, why would you leave him to go double Dikembe when he's not much of an offensive threat?
This is much what we expected. A low-scoring defensive battle, tied at 36. Sprewell fouled with only 4.5 seconds remaining in the half. That personal is going to be on Ed Gray. And Sprewell will have a chance to go to the free throw once again. Sprewell is an 81% free throw shooter on the regular season. Has only had 1 miss in the playoffs. Dudley back in. They'll get Patrick out for this last 4.5 to avoid that 3rd foul. Mutombo already with 3 in the first half. That'll give the Knicks the lead. And a 20-second timeout has been called by Atlanta with 4.5 seconds remaining in the first half. We talked about both these teams shooting around 30% in this first half.
Some of the missed shooting. Whoa. How many times can you airball in one game? Very seldom do you see more than one. And we've already seen 3 airballs and 2 missed dunk shots. Tough shooting by both teams tonight.
New York 36%, Atlanta 33%. And of course, some of that is because of the smothering defense both teams are playing.
You know, a lot of people would say it's a defense. I haven't seen that great a defense, Bob. It's just bad shooting.
Knicks by a point. There you go. He was 9 for 9 in game 1, 6 for 9 here tonight. Just barely rattled it in, but it'll count just as much. 2-point Knicks lead. 2 seconds. 1 second. Sprewell forced Blaylock to try it from half court, and the Knicks lead it by 2 here. At the end of the half on game 1, it was 50-48 Atlanta. Here, a low-scoring defensive game, 38-36. The Knicks over the Hawks. Sprewell has 17 points, 12 in the second period. Just around the corner, the emblematic of the seamless coverage with Turner and NBC in the playoffs this year. We have our courtside reporter talking to their courtside reporter. Scott.
You know, Bob, when you're looking for celebrities at games, you get them in New York games all the time. For a sideline guy, obviously it's got to be Jim Gray, NBC sideline reporter. And, you know, I guess I have to say this, you're my hero. I mean that sincerely.
Why aren't you listening to the huddle down there, Scott?
Is that what you're supposed to do? Give me the fine tips of a sideline guy.
Well, I don't know that I could teach you anything, but I do know that we got a bunch of games coming up on NBC this weekend that we'd like everybody to tune in. We got Portland and Utah on Saturday, followed by the Lakers in San Antonio. Then on Sunday, we got a triple header. Philadelphia and Indiana from Philadelphia. I'll be at New York, along with Tom Hammond and that group. We'll have game 3 of this series, and then the Lakers in San Antonio again. And Showtime starts it all with Hannah Storm. Dateline is sure to follow, but tomorrow night, watch TNT.
There you go. I tell you, does this guy have information? That's why I'll never be on NBC. He knows too much. Let's go back over the table.
A historic interview. Courtside to courtside.
I thought you were looking for celebrities.
Been an ugly third quarter so far. That's no reference to Jim Gray, of course. Ugly third quarter. For example, New York 1 of 7, 3 turnovers. Atlanta 2 of 11, 4 turnovers. It's 42-42, and it was 38-36 Knicks at the half. We have 5:41 to go in the third period. Charlie Ward picked up his 3rd personal to send Blaylock to the line.
I'm not so sure if I'm Van Gundy if I wouldn't have gone back to that Sprewell-Camby combination a little bit earlier. If these guys got the rhythm, if they've got it going, then he's got to change his game plan for the rest of this half.
One interesting stat is both teams here midway through the third period only have 5 assists each. Blaylock, for instance, only 1. Johnson to the rack is fouled by Mookie Blaylock. By the way, Mookie's number 10, you know, was also the name of a Pearl Jam album. 10. Well, one reason is Pearl Jam named their band originally after Mookie. They were called Mookie before they changed Pearl Jam. I just thought I'd get in a little rock and roll history there.
Bob, I'm not going to touch that.
Coming up next on TNT, Game 2 between the Portland Trail Blazers and the Utah Jazz. Then be sure to tune in to TNT tomorrow night for our continuing coverage of the NBA playoffs. At 8 Eastern, the Pacers and the Sixers in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Semis. Then Sunday, May 23rd at 8 on TNT, the Jazz and the Trail Blazers get it on in Game 4 at the Rose Garden in Portland. Just wanted to match promos with Jim Gray. Mutombo in trouble handling the ball out beyond the three-point arc. Shot clock down to 7.
Chris Crawford's runner and one.
That's Chris's first field goal of the game. Personal foul on Sprewell.
Chris Crawford going to the ball, going to the hole very hard, got that 6'9" body in front of Sprewell, and then leans in for the nice softy into the net. Look at the nice rocker step. Not a burst of speed, but nice balance on the shot.
It's a three-point conversion, and the Hawks now lead it 45-44. They trail by 2 at the half. Sprewell behind Larry Johnson. Mookie. Crawford way out in front on the break. Steve Smith the trailer. Followed by Mutombo.
Find a way to score, big fella.
12 rebounds, 8 points for Camby. Timeout. Knicks, Hawks up by 3.
Money-back guarantee. Certified Cadillacs offer warranties up to 6 years, 70,000 miles. Hurry! Right now, all used vehicles are priced $1,000 below Kelley Blue Book value. Ed Morse Cadillac, Florida and Fletcher at I-275 Tampa. You just can't beat an Ed Morse deal.
Atlanta up by 3. Watch this play full speed. And that's how quick NBA basketball players are. Steve Smith missed another shot. 1 for 12 tonight. Has missed his last 6 shots. And I'm looking at him go to the bucket that last time. His knees could be bothering him tonight, Bob, because it looked like he just didn't have any lift at all in making that left-hand layup.
Well, Allen Houston also missing in action tonight. He's 0 for 5 for New York on the bench right now. He's played 20 minutes. He had 34 career playoff high in game 1. Sprewell. He is not missing in action. Latrell has 19.
The difference between Latrell and Houston is Latrell has the going to the whole game, whereas Houston really relies on mostly all jumpers.
Intended pass for Steve Smith, out of bounds off the Knicks with 9 on the shot clock for Atlanta. And Chris Childs will get into the game for the New York Knicks as Charlie Ward goes to the bench. 4:07 to go in the third period. 9 on the shot clock. Hawks up by a point. Childs stepped in. Blaylock went around it. Houston into the ball game for the New York Knicks, along with Sprewell, Johnson, Childs, and Ewing. Childs left alone. Crawford leaped out, and he's fouled.
Good heads-up play. Mookie Blaylock caught the New York in a weak transition defense. Crawford leading the pack. Can always pass the ball faster than teams can run. Slow transition, and only thing that Childs could do is foul him hard, not let him get a three-point play.
Childs with 2 personal fouls. He's adjusting that thigh wrap just out of your picture to the right there. Remember, he has a contusion on his right thigh that has been hampering him in the playoffs. 1 out of 2 for Crawford. Hawks by 2. 3:38 to go, third period. Look at that graphic. Sprewell has outscored the starting 5 for New York by 2. Blaylock got the screen from Steve Smith. Mookie has 15.
Any offensive surge, first one to 65 wins this ball game. But difference is, last game, New York killed them on the boards 40-32 tonight. Atlanta 37-34 rebounding.
Sprewell, little out control. Crawford, Blaylock. Crawford missed the shot and got his own board. You saw his speed. And ball handling. Remember, Chris Crawford is 6'9". Steve Smith continues his shooting woes. He is now 1 for 13.
I see about most of his shots are short, which tells me that he's not getting lift in his legs.
Mutombo's 14th rebound.
His layups are short. His jumper's short.
I told you about his playoff numbers are down through the entire playoffs compared to 97-98. 4 on the shot clock. That beat the shot clock, and Graham Long gets the loose ball. Timeout, Atlanta. Mutombo grimacing as he leaves the court. We'll check to see what's up with Camby. Scott Hastings will be all over that story. I think he's all right. Hawks are up now by 2, 50-48. This is such a critical game for Atlanta, down 0-1 after the Knicks' victory in Game 1. Yeah, you see that Patrick Ewing raked Mutombo across the face as they battled for the ball.
It's right there. See right there. That's where he got him. Caught him across the nose and in the eye.
He said, remember Chris Childs. Patrick said as he did that. Chris said, we'll get you back, and we're not going to tell you when or how. This Saturday night at 8 Eastern, imagine a kid taking over a Major League Baseball team. Check out Little Big League. Action back in. 10 on the shot clock. Minute 44 in the third period. Hawks by 2. Smith driving, fouled by Houston. And if that's not enough, on June 6th, for the first time on network TV, see Matthew McConaughey and Chris Christopherson in Lone Star. See it Sunday, June 6th at 8 Eastern, right here on TNT. Steve Smith has only 3 points. That's 4, and 2 of his 4 are from the free throw line. We're talking about how 97-98 playoff numbers were really excellent for Steve. Look at the drop-off, and that's not even counting tonight's game.
Struggling, Bob. Going to the hole. He's trying to make things happen. He's trying to go and get to the line where he's an excellent free throw shooter, but really short on his shots. Smart offensive players always find a way to get their points by the end of the game, though.
Hawks build a 4-point lead. They trailed by 2 at the half. Childs ditches inside to Johnson. Finds Ewing.
Very close to a 3-second call. Ewing, he shoots that little baseline jumper as well as anybody.
Ewing's first point since the first quarter. He has 8 to go with 6 boards. Has played 27 minutes of this ball game. End zone view. Long hook from Mutombo out of his range.
That was right.
Larry Johnson got inside. Mutombo with 3 personals laid off, and Larry Johnson is tied it at 52.
Both centers very tentative in their approach to blocking shots right now with 3 fouls.
Larry Johnson has 7 in the quarter. He was scoreless in the first half. Another Hawks turnover. Sprewell. Knicks take the lead. Listen to this New York crowd. About half of the fans here, by my guess, are Knicks fans, and they exploded on that. We're at the Georgia Dome. Imagine how loud it'll be at the Garden. 10 to shoot, 14 seconds in the period. Childs has plenty of time. Houston misses. He can't even score from point-blank range. That's the end of the period. Knicks continue to lead by 2, same as they did at the half, in front of this sellout crowd. here at the Georgia Dome. 22,500, and Sprewell leads a 6-0 New York run to end the third quarter. 12 minutes left for the Hawks to avoid a donut going into New York.
When you wax your car, you want that protection and shine to last.
Oh, won't you stay?
New Armor All Car.
Rebounds.
So one of the things that's happening is that the Hawks are doubling with a big man on Patrick Ewing. Now, Larry Johnson had a big third quarter. He has a big third quarter here. He's done well. Now, Camby, 4 offensive rebounds. As soon as his man leaves the double team on Ewing, he's going to the offensive boards.
Keep our eye on that. 11:49 to go, just opening seconds of the fourth period. Camby. Easy to the hoop, Reggie. Good call. 11:40 to go in the game.
They must be aggressive when Camby's in the game, and also any other big man, because of the way the Hawks are playing their defense.
Camby off to a slow start when he came to the Knicks with the fans, the coach, and with his game, but he's really heated up. Bank shot, Ed Gray.
Ed Gray's got some offense, baby.
9 points in this game in limited minutes. Gray has only played 10 minutes, 9 points. Hawks, at the end of that third period, only shooting 29% for the game. Camby can't get it. Long can. Hawks can tie. Mismatch with Crawford and Childs.
That's got to be
Offensive foul on Chris Crawford.
It's got to be. You got to have more offensive moves to get to the post. Chris Childs is working hard to stop you from getting the ball. You got to release the defense. You got to release the pressure and go around him. You can't hook him. And look at that, all over him. Good call by the referee.
That's 4 on Chris Crawford.
No
Knicks
reason to just
continue
sit
to lead
there
by
and
2. Houston cannot buy a bucket. Houston now 1 of 8 in this game with only 1 field goal. Grant Long wasn't looking for the pass from Blaylock. Houston lob to Sprewell, broken up by Mookie nicely. Out of bounds off Camby. Wait a minute. Dick Bavetta, yes, there was a disagreement. Bavetta overrules. Atlanta ball.
That was a terrible lob pass. That would have been too short for me to even dunk that.
Knicks by 2. Hawks with another chance to tie. Ed Gray. Got a loose ball foul.
Mookie Blaylock in the back line. Nice leaping ability, but that lob was way short. Not even close to being good for Sprewell on the lob jam.
In case you noticed that whistle by, I'm sure you noticed it, by Dick Bavetta, that was not a foul. The ball went over the top of the backboard. Thus the turnover, or the ball awarded to the New York Knicks. 10 minutes to go in the game. Ewing has 10 points. He had 7 at the break. 1 free throw in the third quarter, and that basket here in the fourth. Five on the shot clock. 2.
Solid defense by the New York Knicks. Bodying up, getting pressure on the ball, and keeping them on the perimeter, not letting them inside the lane.
Timeout, Knicks by 4. They lead in the series 1-9.
Finals as the Jazz tries to extend their lead on Portland. Right now, back to Atlanta and the Knicks and Bob Neal.
Gotta love them, baby. You gotta love them.
Yes! You love wacky. Sell out here. We got wacky. They're a little wacky down at the moment, though. The Hawks fans are. They're trailing by 4. Big sellout here at the Georgia Dome, though. 22,500 when the Hawks had to play Game 5 against Detroit. There were only 9,300 at the Alexander Memorial Coliseum, so much better attendance here in Game 2. On the shot clock. Larry Johnson back into the game. Ewing Mutombo. Camby has 15 boards tonight. Blaylock loses the dribble and regains it. He's going to pull up and shoot quickly. There was 11 seconds left on the shot clock. Camby tips it. Sprewell runs it. Camby to the line.
Marcus Camby getting into the act. Excellent peripheral game. Rebounding, hustle points, tip dunks. Showing us a little athleticism, spinning to the bucket.
Chris Crawford has picked up his 5th foul. This is certainly less of an effective performance for Crawford. Only 1 field goal in this game tonight. And 5 fouls. Tyrone Corbin will come back in for Crawford. Off the bench, Corbin only has 1 field goal. He played 14 minutes in the first half, only took 3 shots.
I think that was a missed opportunity by Larry Johnson, not being able to take Chris Crawford, to the rack a few times and get himself involved in this game. He did a little bit in the 3rd quarter, but hadn't showed up in the 4th.
Gray with a ball fake and the floater. Let's go to Scott Hastings.
Even though Gray made that shot right there, Van Gundy is really excited the way the Knicks are playing in their half-court defense. He actually said if they're going to continue to walk it up, if you'll keep the pressure on in the half-court offense, they're not going to have any time to shoot the basketball. Guys.
Shot clock to 8. Larry Johnson hits the 3. Larry, an excellent 3-point shooter for the 3-man. 62-56 Knicks. LJ has 10. And Gray gets into the traffic, hits the bucket, and will go to the line for the 3-point opportunity.
Ed Gray doesn't look like he's got a whole lot of offense, but the kid's got some shots, floaters, taking it to the hole hard. Look at this. Nice ball fake, and the extra dribble, the 2 steps, takes the contact and finishes the shot off.
And Gray misses his 3-point opportunity, and that was the 2nd personal on Chris Dudley. Coming up right after this, 10:30 Eastern. We'll be going out west to Utah. That's the 3rd foul as Ed Gray picks up the personal. Team foul situation here. 2 on the Hawks, only 1 on the Knicks with 7:35 to go in the ball game. New York up 62-58. Camby alone. How high can you fly?
Bob, he got a running start. He started running way before he received that ball. Full head of steam for that dunk.
Knicks match their biggest lead of 6. Gray's been looking for offense. Larry Johnson off to Chris Childs. 7:04 to go. Traveling, Hawks ball.
Marcus Camby, the star of the Knicks team right now. Look how high this young fella got up in Mutombo's face. No finger wave there. Take that, big fella.
He put a quarter on the top of the backboard. He'll get it on another trip down.
New York taking decisive lead. Marcus Camby, the star of this game so far. Look how high this young fella got up on the dunk. I don't know what Mutombo's thinking about, but look at that, how high he is, almost the rim level with his head, and getting all the dunk you can get out of one play.
Making a good case for raising the rim. Earlier in the year, Camby didn't even play in crunch time. 2 points in first game, 11 here to go with 11 boards and 2 blocked shots. Tyrone Corbin. Long with the offensive board, but Dick Pavetta with a whistle. Got a double foul on Mutombo and Dudley.
a good thing if you're a New York fan, because I think that is Mutombo's 4th foul.
It is Mutombo's 4th.
A double foul on Dudley and Mutombo.
You heard Dick Rivera talking to the scoring table right there. 3rd on Dudley, 4th on Mutombo.
And see, Dudley likes to keep his body on Mutombo. I've said on many occasions, Mutombo doesn't like body contact, and Dudley understands that, really keeps his arm and his shoulders into Mutombo's back.
Scott Hastings.
Exactly right. Talked with Chris Dudley earlier today, and he said in the season he kind of let Mutombo push him and got away from him. He said, I'm not taking it anymore, and I'm getting right in his face. So you're exactly right. He's getting in Mutombo's chest.
Dudley only has 3 fouls. He has 3 more to give. 8 on the clock for long. Stripped away by Camby. Sprewell. Camby. A foul on Ed Gray.
Look how Dudley's really bodying up, not letting Mutombo get to the offensive rebound. And part of that is when you're a bench player and you have a chance to sit on the bench and watch what happens on the floor. He saw Mutombo scoring a couple of times recently on the offensive rebounding. Comes into the game and makes sure Mutombo doesn't get a chance to go another offensive rebound.
How about that? 52 points in 65 minutes in this series.
Smart player, Dudley. That's the way to get the most out of your minutes when you have playing time.
Sprewell has taken more shots than anybody on the Knicks team. He's also making more. He's got 23, had 31, his playoff career high in game 1. He's picked up where he left off, and the Knicks have their biggest lead of the game by 8. Long, all alone in the corner. Sprewell tipped that out to Chris Childs. Look at Camby, beat everybody down.
Well, so far, both game 1 and 2, it's been finding some place that has energy, and Sprewell has it again tonight, and they found Marcus Camby. Again, Sprewell baseline on the elbow, the shooter's touch, 3-point play possibility.
And that's the 5th foul on Ed Gray. There's the New York fast break points, 13-5 on Atlanta.
And what I say in game 1, the team that gets the most fast break points in this series is going to win this series, because both these teams typically want to play half-court basketball. You got to have those bursts of energy and speed, layups and easy buckets.
Patrick Ewing is resting also with 5:45 to go in the game. Should help him in crunch time. 7-0 run for New York, and should help when they get back into New York for a NBC game on Sunday and a TBS game on Monday night.
But I think, Bob, when you talk about Patrick Ewing, the more rest he gets in this series, the stronger he'll be for the final round, provided they win this one, obviously.
You know, the Knicks, Sacramento got all the talk in the first round, and well-deserved for their gutty performance and surprising performance. There's Ewing's numbers as he rests. The Cinderella story, without question, now becomes the New York Knicks.
There is no question, absolutely. But anybody would tell you that this team in the second half of the season was not an 8th seed team. They struggled so badly early in the season that the record was not indicative to the type of team they really are.
Steve Smith, that's a 2, is now 2 of 15 from the floor. Knicks by 9 with 5 minutes to go. Childs to Camby. Dudley with the foul over the back of Mutombo. Dudley's 4th personal foul. We're talking about the Knicks being the 8th seed. No number 8 seed has ever advanced to a conference final or an NBA final, and the Knicks have every chance, frankly, to do both.
Yeah, and when you look at this team, there's no way you can sit here and tell me that this is a legitimate 8th seed team. This team, obviously, much better than that. But it took them the whole year to gel and to get it together.
And one reason is the trade of Oakley to Toronto for Camby. Camby now getting himself in, and he's in crunch time. Did not play here earlier in the year.
Short season, tough situation, no training camp. They get Latrell Sprewell after he doesn't play almost a whole year. He gets hurt after the second game, sits out 13 games. This team has had a lot of problems in just gelling, mainly because they hadn't been together. You have to remember, they only had their starting five together for about the last 13, 14 outings.
Blaylock at the free throw line. 4:30 to go in the game. Coming up next on TNT, Game 2 between the Trailblazers and the Utah Jazz. Right after this one. Utah escaped Sacramento.
That's a good way to put it, too.
I frankly thought they would lose Game 1 to Portland, and Portland was up big in that ball game and then ran out of gas late in the game. So Utah, they're old, but they're proud. 8 on the shot clock. 5. Sprewell losing the dribble, 2. Shot clock violation.
When you look at Spree's game, nice defense, running all over the floor, and the shot clock running down. He's running, trying to get the ball so he can take the shot for the team.
Knicks by 8 points. 3:58 to go in the game. Going to be a foul on Larry Johnson holding Steve Smith.
Look at Steve Smith working hard trying to stop Sprewell. That's the strong side of the floor. Now Sprewell wants that ball badly, coming all the way to the weak side. Shot clock running down. But that's the kind of offensive player you want to try to get the ball. Steve Smith, excellent defensive stance.
Steve Smith was trying to do likewise to Larry Johnson on the baseline for Atlanta. Smith cuts the lead to 7. Timeout, New York. 3:55 to go in the ball game. Quiet crowd right now in anticipation of a close one at the Georgia Dome. Sellout 22,500.
For a couple reasons. One, we haven't been a really good defensive rebounding team this year, so you can't run without the ball. 2, it's just not in our nature, but we take pride in getting more fast break points.
Bob, they get 41 rebounds a game, and they got Camby, Houston, Spree, and Chris Childs, all very good runners on the floor. One of the criticisms I've heard as I travel through the league is that people think that New York should try to push the ball a lot more and not be so sneaky about it.
New York 13 fast break points to Atlanta's 5 in this game, and the Knicks have 42 rebounds to Atlanta's 45. It's a 6-point Knicks lead with 3:49 remaining. Ronnie Nunn with the whistle. That foul is on Steve Smith, his first. Both teams over their limit, and Sprewell will go to the free throw line where he's 10 of 13 tonight. Steve Smith, we told you about his playoff numbers being down from 97-98 to this year, but look at the difference in game 1 and 2. Only 5 trips to the line.
Moving a lot slower. Really didn't take advantage of the mismatch when he had his man down the baseline. Doesn't look like he's got a lot of lift in his legs tonight.
Which begs the question is, how is his knee?
Yeah.
Steve Smith tried that one from way beyond the arc with Larry Johnson, who leaked out but didn't get the pass. 71-63, Knicks by 8.
And he hasn't shot it long all night. Everything the front of the rim.
He's not exactly having a great time chasing Sprewell being bumped off of the pitch.
I tell you what, sometimes the best defense is a real good offense.
Oh, tough shot. Ewing builds the Knicks lead to 73-63, and that's the biggest. Patrick has 12 points. Shot clock to 6. Blocking foul on Patrick Ewing, but Ewing not in foul trouble tonight. That'll only be his 3rd.
When you look at this Hawk team and you look the way the Knicks are scoring on them, you have to think that the Hawks don't have enough bullets in their gun. When Henderson being out, Alfonso Ellis not being around, this team is really struggling when they have to match up with a quicker team of the New York Knicks. Of course, Henderson, when he played on many occasions, also very capable of guarding a guard, which would give them another chance to play the New York Knicks guard situation.
2:46 to go in this game.
Lenny has done a tremendous job with this team. Different building every night, no players on the floor. What a great coach. I asked him before the game, he said, Reggie, everything is predicated around defense with all the teams I've ever been successful with.
73-65 New York, 2:41 to go. Knicks already lead the series 1-0. Blaylock comes away with a loose ball. Hawks still got a great chance here. Got to find offense. Smith hands it off to Long. Steve Smith is limping a little bit. You can see him walking gingerly. Timeout, New York. Knicks 73, Hawks 67. 2:12 to go in the game. On the shot clock. 3 on the clock. Blaylock, Hawks can cut it to 4.
Biggest defensive stop in the game right now.
Double team on Blaylock. Crawford misses badly. Remember, he had a career-high 26 in Game 1, and tonight he started. Crawford has 10 points, but only 1 field goal.
I don't think any defense can make you shoot that poorly.
Minute 25 to go. Knicks continue to lead by 6. Crawford has 5 fouls.
You got to go at it. Here comes Camby.
Chris Childs. Hawks still have the opportunity. 1 minute and change remaining in the game. Down 6.
Nice chase by Childs and Ewing on that pick and roll.
Knicks defense rotating beautifully. Shot clock to 5. Steve Smith. Grant Long. Shot clock to 3. Ewing kicked and alive for Larry Johnson, and he's fouled with 43 seconds to go. And the Knicks continue to lead by 6.
And that was an excellent stop by the New York Knicks. They got the stops when they needed. The Crawford air ball, and then this pick and roll defense this time down court was tremendous. Childs and Ewing chasing Mookie Blaylock all the way completely out of the play.
Crawford fouls out, and the surprise story of the 1999 playoffs, the New York Knicks will undoubtedly have a 2-0 lead going back to Madison Square Garden with a game on Sunday afternoon. That'll be on NBC at 3 Eastern, and then on TBS on Monday night. The Garden will be rocking, and the Knicks seem to be finding momentum and finding chemistry. And remember, Jeff Van Gundy's job was everything but lost 2 or 3 times during the season. Patrick Ewing and some of the other Knicks stood up and said, we will play for Van Gundy. We want him to stay here. This won't hurt his chances. 43 seconds remaining in the game. Knicks
with the Parson, the Quadrants, gives out the awards, a lot like the Hubies. He calls them the Gates. Tonight, he's giving it out to Larry Johnson and Marcus Camby. And Bob and Reggie, the way especially Marcus Camby has played for 48 minutes, he deserves some kind of award.
Well, Sprewell, of course, has had a great game, too. And the reason Larry Johnson, he's only got 10 points here in the second half, but he's played great defense on Steve Smith. That's going to be a 3-shot foul. That was a three-point attempt by Mookie Blaylock. Fouls number 5 on Chris Childs.
When you talk about Larry Johnson, he had 0 points at halftime. So now he's got 10 points in the second half. That was big, especially when you mix up how things are started. Sprewell kept them in the game. Camby got them the lead, and then LJ really solidified their situation.
Blaylock cuts the lead to 6. Coming up next on TNT, Game 2 between the Portland Trailblazers and the Utah Jazz immediately following this game. Missed a critical free throw. Mutombo follows it, and Larry Johnson swept in and swept the ball away from the hoop. Hawks will get it. 33 seconds to go in the game.
Mutombo outworked Patrick Ewing for that offensive rebound. You got to finish that, though.
Camby back in with 11 points, 13 boards, 2 blocks in only 24 minutes.
That's big. Good defense, Childs. Didn't leave his feet.
Sprewell comes away with a defensive board. 21 seconds to go. It's going to be Knicks ball game. New York will go back to the Garden with a 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 series. What a story. Jeff Van Gundy's Knicks. Ewing has been hurt for the playoffs. Van Gundy under fire all year. Latrell Sprewell acquisition, controversial earlier in the year. Marcus Camby, controversial because of the trade for Charles Oakley. Knicks fans wanted him to stay here. Sprewell has maintained his composure all year. He's accepted a move to come off the bench, and the Knicks are the surprise story of the 1999 playoffs. The Knicks fans in the stands, and there are many of them, are up cheering here. Some of them saying, back to the Garden. Timeout Atlanta with 16.4 to go. Trailing by 7. 16 seconds left in this game with the Knicks comfortably in front, and coming up right after this game, we'll be going to Salt Lake City for Game 2 with Portland and Utah. And I want to remind you that at halftime of that game, we'll have complete coverage from both the Hawks side, the Hawks locker room, and the Knicks locker room. We'll have that at halftime of the Portland-Utah game. New York is going to go to 4-1 on the road in the playoffs this year. Anthony Johnson throws it down. Knicks by 5, but 13 seconds left. Sprewell, an outstanding free throw shooter, is fouled, and he'll have his free throws with 10 seconds remaining in the game. Reggie, the Knicks surprised everybody by beating Miami. I don't think they're surprising quite as many people by beating the Atlanta Hawks. But when they go back, the Knicks matchup with Atlanta seems to be insurmountable at this point. Yeah. What do you think about it?
And they've got too many guys, too many places they can go. Even as poorly as they shot in the first quarter, they've still found a way to score. They got Sprewell going, then they have LJ going. Camby comes off the bench, big offensive rebounds, tip dunks, making things happen. They've just got too many places that they can go. The Hawks have to do a better job in their transition defense.
Blaylock missing, badly emblematic of the shooting woes the Hawks had, and that's it. The Knicks hold the Hawks to 70, winning 77-70, and take a 2-game